All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live today with actually a new face but old face to the Rain community, Omar Khan. Patrick, how are you, pal?
I'm fantastic, and I'm not dealing with multiple feet of snow like you two gentlemen are, so I'm really
No
good.
Mageddon, the snowpocalypse, Omar. How's it been for you over there?
It is what it is. You can't worry about things beyond your control. It's not fun though, not at all. I envy you guys on the West Coast.
Well, Omar, I'm just going to challenge you there, pal, because it's not fun because you don't have a tractor. I got to tell you, I had a lot of fun.
Right.
I had a lot of fun yesterday plowing around on the tractor. It was great fun out there.
Yeah.
It'd be riding down the mean streets of Mississauga would be really difficult for me to track.
Hey, listen, if you're like JG and you're in a John Deere, that's okay.
That's right. Kubota, you'd probably get razzed, but a John Deere, you'd be okay. All right. Enough tractor talk. Omar, first of all, thank you so much for doing this. And welcome back to the Rain community. You've been a Rain member and a longtime fan of the community. Tell us a bit about Omar. Tell us about your journey. And I know there's no doubt that you're going to speak about theta trading in a second. So throughout that. So, yeah, go ahead. Tell us, who is Omar and how's it relevant to Rain?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm a stock guy. I joined Rain in 2009 or 10, I believe. Now, I came from the stock world. I didn't grow up with any money. I grew up with no financial literacy. So I saw my parents suffer. I suffered as a result of it. And as I got older, I said, I don't want any part of this. So I was a stock guy. And as you guys know, in 2008, 2009, there was a major financial collapse around the world, right? We came to the brink of financial collapse, and I had all my money in the stock market. And I took a beating temporarily. I believe in the stocks I was investing, but I took a beating temporarily. But what it taught me is never again am I going to have all my money in one asset category. So what I did was, because I'm a stock guy, right? I'm not a real estate guy. So what I did was I joined Rain. I found the best source, which company is the best for my education to get me knowledgeable in a sector which I don't know anything about, quite frankly. Right? I know about real estate in the sense that how interest rates, whatever, correlates to the stock market, but I'm not a real estate guy. So I started buying real estate in 2010. I purchased north of 30 properties. And how did I do it? Well, I did it from my trading profits. That's my story. And to this day, 2 years ago, I was able to quit my job many years ago. So luckily I haven't had to work for a while. A couple of years ago, we started our own business teaching people exactly this: how to become financially independent using stocks and the options market. And also, hopefully the next phase is, of course, how to incorporate real estate. So that's my story.
What I love about what you're talking about, Omar, and this is so important, is that what you did was you took your expertise, you applied it, you created your business called Theta. Now that was ultimately understanding now real estate, where you're taking profits from one, you're expanding and diversifying your portfolio. And, as I'm sure, is that, people talk about a diversified stock portfolio and they talk about owning 30 different stocks. In this day and age, when we talk about owning a diversified portfolio, we're talking about owning stocks, owning real estate, maybe owning precious metals and cryptocurrencies. And so you've really taken what you've learned in the world of stock trading and you've applied it to your real estate, and then back and forth, like vice versa. So you're really playing the game really well. And I think you're into some crypto stuff, and I don't know that to be true, but I thought we had maybe a conversation where you are. The point is, that's where diversification lives, and you've educated yourself in that regard. I mean, our relationship, and I know I'm going on a little bit, but I want to give listeners a little bit of background, which is to say that what we came to understand is that there is a lot of members of the community that are very, very interested in being able to diversify a portfolio by understanding how to invest in stocks. And you provided a lot of education for them over the years.
Yeah. Learning how to invest in stocks is something that traditionally real estate investors have been very closed-minded to. Oh, no, the stock market is no good. Well, no, you can make tremendous amounts of money through the stock market if you're able to, again, educate yourself. The same way that I educated myself in real estate. I didn't know anything about real estate, but I educated myself, and I was able to build a nice portfolio that I have to this day, which continues to grow. So what I do is I take my positive cash flow from my real estate. It feeds my trading account. My trading account then spits out more positive cash flow. And then once the opportunity arises, the capital is there, I will objectively look at both asset categories, whether it's real estate, whether it's stocks, and I will look objectively because I understand multiple asset categories. And I will say my money is better allocated here or here. If you only understand one asset category like I did, it becomes very difficult to allocate capital objectively.
It's like when you give a kid a hammer, everything becomes a nail, right?
Yes.
So it's very, very similar. So I like your perspective, Omar, because I've had the very same perspective, except, and I've done lots of stocks over the years, not nearly to your level, but I've done lots of stock, but I have done the same thing on the business side of things. I'm an entrepreneur, and I've done exactly that, is held businesses that produce positive cash flow, put that into real estate that produces positive cash flow. And then I decide, where's it best spent? Is it best invested back in my businesses? Is it best invested in my real estate businesses or my portfolio? So this is a common kind of, wealth strategy that's worked for a very, very long time for a lot of people. So Omar, I'm so glad that we're bringing more and more and more, that perspective to the RAIN community. But, and there's going to be much more on this, gang. So if you're watching this, you're thinking like, can we dig into this? We will. That's not the purpose of today, but I promise you we will. Today, we're talking about Rethink Real Estate Conference, Omar, because, for a long time, we've seen real estate changing, and we've been bringing this message to our community saying, listen, you got to have your eyes wide open here because things are changing, and there's no bigger shift, especially in the last quarter of 2020 or 2021, I should say, than this new announcement of the Metaverse. It's like for many years, we now have a term of what we saw coming for many years coming. You're really excited about the Metaverse, and you and I are going to be sharing the stage on a particular keynote on this. Why are you excited about the Metaverse, Omar? And I know we're going to talk a lot more about this at Rethink Real Estate, but let's give our viewers just a little bit of a sample of why you're so excited about it.
There's many reasons why. First of all, it's going to connect the world like never before, right? So, for example, if you want to do any job from anywhere in the world, you can do it. Having immersive meetings, so reducing the need for business travel, like the Zoom meeting we're having right now. One day, I'm going to invite you to my virtual office, or you'll invite me to your virtual office, and we will do this in an immersive setting. And there'll be other people there. And this changes the dynamic of how meetings are conducted, how business is conducted, how business is done. Like, for example, yesterday, Samsung opened up their flagship store in the virtual world called Decentraland. Right. Now, if a major corporation like Samsung is doing that, is it something to take note of? I never invest in anything I don't understand. So until I fully understand something, I won't invest. But if I see Samsung doing something like that, it certainly perks up my ears. Why is Samsung buying virtual real estate in a virtual land? Why are they doing this? They're not idiots. Mm-hmm. So that requires a lot more, insight and looking into. But I'm very excited because of the amount of connectivity is going to completely revolutionize how we live.
Omar, you threw me a softball there, pal, because you said Samsung, they're not idiots. But you and I, we're Apple guys. We're Apple guys.
Yeah, we're Apple guys. Yeah. But the point is, you can't build a multi-billion-dollar corporation by being a fool, right? It's not going to happen.
I agree with you 100%. And what's fascinating about this, and again, folks, this conversation is so massive that we are just literally not even talking about the tip of the iceberg at Rethink Real Estate. We're just going to scratch the surface of the tip of the iceberg at Rethink Real Estate Conference. But what's exciting to me, Omar, is I think you're bang on. And also, everyone who thinks, I'm not going to do that, there's no way I'm going to do that, the Metaverse is just the next iteration of what we have been doing. All of us, the entire world has been on this trajectory for the last 10, 15, 20 years. And in the last 2 years, i.e. since COVID, that it has accelerated in a huge, huge way. And now there's a vision for what the future holds. And that's what we're going to attempt. I'm not even going to say we're going to do a great job, Omar, but we are definitely going to attempt to draw the future, draw the vision, and show people what it could be like and what life could be like in the next 5 and 10 years and how that could be very exciting if you look at it from the right perspective. That's at least what I'm hoping to bring to this talk. And I'm really excited, Omar, that you're going to be helping me with that.
Yeah, I'm excited to be on, and I agree with you 100%. The world is going to transform rapidly in the next few years. We have to understand these changes and then position ourselves to take advantage of it, right? It's just that simple. It's unfortunate. I mean, you guys. Well, I'm a pretty old guy. I remember when the internet first came out. I'm like, what is this? The internet is probably a fad. But I was a kid back then, right? But now, as an adult, you're starting to see the next evolution of the internet and how much it's going to change the way we live. So, it's better not to just ignore these things, but to educate oneself on it so that they can take advantage of the opportunities that arise as a result of it.
What I love about all of this, first and foremost, is that we sense sometimes resistance in old school kind of ways of thinking. So, I'm at a point where I've come to realize that we can't make, I want to just speak into and to dive into where the market is, not where I think it should be or where I want it to be. We have to deal with what is. And what is an evolution of changing technology, an evolution of how we do it. We're very committed, each of us and our organizations, to leading the way for our community to kind of be the pioneers and, cutting the brush, if you will, to create that path. I think back to when I was a younger man, when I started, I was an early adopter of the internet, for example. It was dial up and it was making all the funny noises. And, that was 30 years ago or 30 years ago ish. And the point is that if I would have been able to understand then what I understand today, I would have taken a whole different approach. Now, I was an early adopter of the internet and user and email and what is it and how does it work? Like I was that. So I was an early adopter in terms of being a user. But I want to actually now see this opportunity to say, I'm going to ride the wave from a different perspective. Yes, I'm going to be a user, but I want to tap into the possibilities and the opportunities that things like the metaverse and this technology is driving, as well as how it supports us as real estate investors going forward. You look at a stock, Omar, this. So you were one of those individuals when Rain was talking about Hamilton and Barry and Aurelia. I mean, so many years ago when people were looking at us going, you guys are nuts, right? But we looked at the future saying, I don't want to invest for today. I want to invest for it later because that's where I want to get in front of the wave. Now, you're one of the guys that took advantage of that, but it's also how you look at the stock market. And that's how we're looking at technology, integrating them. How do they come together and how do we move forward? So when you look at the metaverse, I think, people are going to resist it, but we may never use it, but our clients will. Right?
Yeah, people resist it at first, like they resist every new technology at first. Like, I don't know, but should I? What's going to happen though is you're going to have more and more adoption, and then you're going to have no choice but to not ignore it, right? Now, some people are going to spend a lot more time in the metaverse than other people. I'm sure of. Some people will spend no time, but there is going to be massive opportunity, and all we're saying, I'm saying, is one should understand what that opportunity is and understand how to take advantage of that opportunity, both in real estate and the stock market.
And you know what? What's amazing about this is that we've seen this time and time and time again. And I think that's why the three of us are so excited to talk about it, because we've seen this with social media. You remember back in the day in social media, the older generation back then would say, oh no, I'm never going to, spend all that time on my phone. I'm never going to do that. Now that's all they do. You can't get that generation, which poo-pooed social media to high heavens. You can't get them off their damn phone and off Facebook and off Instagram because they want to spend time with their kids and their kids' kids and their grandkids. And that's where the kids are. So it's just amazing how we've been down this path over and over and over again. Folks, metaverse is coming. That's the bottom line. You got to understand it. And the good news is we're so early into this that you have lots of time to understand it, taste it, try it, test it, and really get comfortable with it. But if you wait a number of years to start understanding it, then you'll be caught behind the eight ball. And that's what Rethink Real Estate Conference is all about, is not being behind the eight ball. In fact, being ahead of the curve. So that's that. Patrick, I think we'll leave it there for today because Rethink Real Estate Conference is just around the corner. It is this weekend, January 22nd. I can't believe it's already here. So Click the link below, folks. Get registered, get signed up. And Omar, Patrick, look forward to sharing the stage with you at the this great event, Rethink Real Estate Conference. Thanks so much, gents.
Thanks, JG. Thanks, Omar.